Oh, yeah. Happy Sunday morning. 5 minutes before noon. April 27th. What's going on? What an interesting weekend. Let's check my microphone levels here. Friends? Oh, we're looking good. Oh, yes, it's great to be alive today. I'll wait till some people jump in. A little impromptu live stream going on. Catching up on this Virginia Guiffre, excuse me. The accuser of Prince Andrew and Epstein. Of course, she was in a bus crash about 4 weeks ago, about a month ago. Now, today, all across the mainstream media, they're claiming that she's died by suicide. Plausible deniability, I think the term is. Good to see you, Purple. Plausible deniability. Just enough shade to make you question. Of course, it's a very familiar thing, but it's interesting nonetheless to see how many people involved who are alleged to be involved in these sex trafficking rings on this side have ended up dead, falling from balconies. I don't believe in coincidences, but then again, I'm just a pleb sitting here trying to discern what the hell is going on based upon what I read. And of course, I like to stick to X, not because I trust everything that I see, but at least I know it's probably the least manipulated. And I'm a big proponent of the fifth estate, citizen journalism, holding governments accountable through these time-honored traditions. But again, we're in 2025 and we're heavily censored. It's good to see everybody. Yeah, you guys are following it too. I'm following it quite a bit. Part of me is quite terrified to talk about it because I've been through this shit before. I'm not anybody of importance, but I've been attacked, come after because of things that I wasn't supposed to say or people were upset about in that sense. So it leaves a poor taste in your mouth. It traumatizes you in that sense. When I saw that, Glamour Fox, you were like, no, she didn't die by unaliving herself. No way. It's all interesting on how things are portrayed. I don't believe anything that I read anymore. I've lost all confidence in mainstream media. But I still go through and I read some things. Doesn't matter. So I'm not sure what to believe. But it seems bizarre that this poor woman, and of course you never hear it from anybody but a third party or an interpretation. Like, this isn't Virginia coming forward and saying this. This is just the best that you can really see is that she has posts on Instagram, and I don't know what her habits are in that sense. But she posted on social media where 4 weeks ago she was hit at about 110 kilometers an hour by a school bus. And it's been talked about that the bus driver minimized the ordeal because the bus driver says that he wasn't going near that fast. And the doctor, I guess, told Virginia that if she didn't get into dialysis or get treatment, that she was going to die within 4 days because of her, what do they call it? I don't want to fuck this up. Renal failure, kidney renal failure. She was going into kidney failure. So, of course, things get blown out of proportion. And when you simplify things, it really looks bad. But again, all you really need is a guy in a lab coat to tell you something or have paid off. And God knows there's umpteen amount of those doctors at any one time. Personally, I don't trust anything that I read. But again, I don't want to sit here and stoke all kinds of false conspiracies in your mind when there's enough conspiracy already out there to be digested. I feel really bad for Virginia and her family in this sense. Of course, she was born in California and spent a lot of her time between Australia and the United States. She got picked up. These are my words. I'm just going off my mind. She worked at Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort as I think, a hostess of some sort. When Ghislaine Maxwell got her hooks into her and offered her a job to be, to go, offered her a job to be a personal masseuse to Jeffrey Epstein. So you're talking about somebody who has intimate knowledge of all of this. And of course, do I have a list? Let me pull this up. I might have a list. I do have a list. One moment, please. So other named individuals. And this is besides Prince Andrew, Duke of York. So I've got a little something here. The initial contact was in 2000, allegedly. Virginia Jeffrey alleged she met Ghislaine Maxwell at age 16 while working as a locker room attendant at Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort in Palm Beach, Florida. Maxwell approached her while she was reading a book on massage therapy, offering her a job as a traveling masseuse for Jeffrey Epstein on the Lolita Express, no doubt. Claiming no experience was necessary. That reeks of predation, doesn't it? But of course, I believe Virginia's background, she had a very difficult upbringing. She struggled with homelessness. She was in the system. She didn't have a strong support network in that sense. So the grooming process, Jeffrey claimed that what she expected to be a legitimate job interview turned into sexual abuse. This was at Epstein's Palm Beach mansion. She alleged Maxwell instructed her on how to massage Epstein, who was naked, and that both began sexually exploiting her under the guise of training her as a masseuse. Holy shit, I'd say. She said she shared her traumatic past, including childhood SA at times, as a runaway, which made her vulnerable to their manipulation. So this lasted from about 1999 to 2002. Jeffrey stated she was SA'd by Epstein and Maxwell from 1999 to 2002, during which she was coerced into providing massages and sexual services. She traveled between Epstein's properties in Palm Beach, Manhattan, New Mexico, which is the Zorro Ranch, and his private island, Little St. James, and was flown on private jets to various locations. Of course, there's lots of talk that Epstein is heavily involved in the intelligence services and what that means, aka simply talk about it. And that's the Mossad, of course, and CIA. So trafficking to powerful individuals, I believe that Al Gore and Bill Clinton were mentioned, but she never witnessed any or had any sexual contact with them. But they were mentioned as being seen on the island. So Jeffrey alleges that Epstein and Maxwell trafficked her to their wealthy and influential associates, describing herself as being passed around like a platter of fruit. Specific claims include the Prince Andrew, Duke of York. She claimed that she was trafficked to Prince Andrew 3 times in 2001. She was 17, and that's, of course, is where that famous picture comes from that Prince Andrew denied knowing anything about on the BBC, alleging sexual abuse in London at Maxwell's Belgravia residence, New York's Epstein's mansion, and the Little St. James Island. She described a specific incident in London where Maxwell took her to Tramp nightclub, where she danced with Andrew. Later, Maxwell allegedly instructed her to do for Andrew what you do for Epstein, after which she was paid $15,000 by Epstein. Was that the nightclub where Prince Andrew didn't sweat in? Look, that's absolutely, insane. She described a specific incident A widely circulated 2001 photo shows Guiffre with Prince Andrew's arm around her waist with Maxwell in the background, taken at Maxwell's London home. Well, fancy meeting you here. Guiffre claimed that corroborated her story through Maxwell, or though Maxwell claimed the photo was a fake, and Andrew denied recalling it or meeting her. Guiffre filed a civil lawsuit against Andrew in 2021, which was settled out of court in 2022 for an undisclosed sum, estimated at around £12 million. With no admission of liability, Andrew expressed regret for his association with Epstein. Now, the other named individuals, Alan Dershowitz, who's a Harvard law professor and Epstein's attorney. She later settled a defamation lawsuit with him in 2022, acknowledging she may have made a mistake in identifying him. Leslie Wexner, which is a retail magnate and Epstein's mentor who denied ever meeting her. Glenn Dublin, billionaire hedge fund manager who denied the allegations, supported by flight records. George Mitchell, former Senate Majority Leader who called the claims false. Bill Richardson, former New Mexico governor whose office denied any contact. Jean-Luc Brunel, a French modeling agent charged with sexual crimes who died by unaliving in 2022. I'll just bet he did. Guiffre testified against him in Paris in 2021. Marvin Minsky, a computer scientist, deceased in 2016, and a well-known prime minister she refused to name. Probably, I would have to say Tony Blair. I'm just saying that. It doesn't name him here. She claimed Maxwell instructed her to engage in sexual activities with the owner of a major hotel chain identified in some reports as Tom Pritzker, which is the Hyatt Regency, the Hyatt chain, during Naomi Campbell's birthday party in France. Guiffre also stated she saw high-profile figures like Bill Clinton and Al Gore on Epstein's private island, but did not accuse them of sexual misconduct. So the nature of their operation, the recruitment and exploitation, Guiffre described Maxwell as Epstein's right-hand man, actively scouting and grooming underage girls. Using her charm and British accent to gain trust, she alleged Maxwell participated in sexual encounters and scheduled appointments for Epstein's abuse. Coercion and control. Guiffre said she was coerced into recruiting other girls and was kept in a cycle of abuse through promises of a better life and financial incentives. She was paid for her services, including $10,000 to $15,000 for encounters with Prince Andrew. She claimed Epstein and Maxwell operated a sophisticated trafficking ring, leveraging their wealth and connections to exploit vulnerable girls, flying them worldwide to service elite clients. What is that woman's name here on YouTube in this extended community that has all of these claims as well? And she wanted to be identified as a victim of this sex trafficking. Nicolina used to have her up, and she used to get so pissed off at people. She was triggered by Nicolina in that sense. What's her name again? I can't remember. Somebody put it in chat. I'm not looking at it right now, by the way. Legal actions and advocacy. 2009 lawsuit against Epstein. As Jane Doe 102, Guiffre sued Epstein, alleging he and Maxwell recruited her into their trafficking ring as a minor. The case settled for $500,000 with terms kept confidential until 2022. There's a 2015 defamation lawsuit against Maxwell. After Maxwell called her a liar, Guiffre sued her for defamation. The case settled in 2017 for an undisclosed sum. And unsealed documents later corroborated parts of her story. 2021 lawsuit against Prince Andrew. Her civil suit alleged SA, leading to 2022 settlement. Fucking Christ. Testimony and advocacy. Guiffre provided official information to law enforcement, aiding Maxwell's 2021 conviction on 5 counts of sex trafficking, and a 20-year sentence. Guiffre founded Victims Refuse Silence, later SOAR, in 2015 to support trafficking survivors, inspired by her desire to protect others after the birth of her daughter. Guiffre's allegation gained significant attention through her 2019 BBC Panorama interview and the Miami Herald's 2018 Perversion of Justice series, which reignited public and legal scrutiny of Epstein's crimes. Now, it's Virginia's claims that led Prince Andrew's withdrawal from public duties, the loss of his titles, and Epstein's 2019 arrest. He died by suicide, quote unquote, before trial. Guiffre's outspokenness helped expose the scale of Epstein's and Maxwell's trafficking network, though she faced intense personal toll, including social media attacks and health struggles in this damn bus, culminating in her suicide in April 2025. Boy, that was quick, wasn't it? Yeah, I'm suspicious. You know what? That's it. I'm fucking suspicious. All of a sudden, it's not even 24 hours after all of this has happened. And I'm reading on X, okay? I'm reading on X right up to the moment to 2025, the reasoning for her quote unquote suicide in that sense. Get fucked. I don't believe any of this shit. The one thing that we can attest to in 2025, especially looking back over the past 15, 20 years and beyond, but we don't have to, is how manipulated the mainstream media is to present a narrative a certain way that is going to benefit the elite as opposed to the people that the law is supposed to represent and protect. Excuse me. I got a frog in my throat, bro. What's going on, Nasty? You're the legend, brother. You're the legend. The bus driver said she wasn't there. What are you saying, Jen R? The bus driver said she wasn't there. Like, so what you're saying is that the bus got in an accident and they're making it look like Virginia was in a vehicle after being roughed up like that and brought to the hospital or something. Are they posing this as a scenario? All kinds of things. And by the way, good to see Heidi. By the way, go over and check out Susan. Let's Talk with Susan Bennett. She's talking all about the Diddy trials and things like that. And she's hip. She's cool. She's not believing the narrative in that sense. She's questioning things in the right way. But it's a good opportunity to go over there and check it out. You think it was a first attempt, maybe? What do you mean, Jennar? The bus driver said she wasn't there. Let me go pull this up in the background then. I'll go. Jeffrey Epstein's victim, Virginia Guiffre. What do we want to? Let's go to the New York Post. So take all of the wording away. Take all of the words away. And take a look at what's happened in this sense. And she's gone well out of her way to let everybody know that, hey, I'm not suicidal. I'm not looking to end my life. I'm looking to take care of my child, my young child. She's got no reason, especially considering how strong of an individual she is. Could you imagine that? She's this strong and she's gotten this far only to pussy out and wimp out and take her own life? That's completely absurd. That's absurd. I don't believe that. I do believe that we get manipulated hand over foot through the mainstream media. See, when I saw those pictures of her, Jen, I wasn't completely, I didn't know what to think. I didn't know if someone was putting makeup on her, making her look like that. It was just a very bizarre look with all of her bruises, etc. Yeah, I don't believe you, Ink. Or, I mean, I don't blame you. Controlled opposition and extreme manipulation on a broader sense to support this breakaway civilization. Oh, I've said too much. Good to see you, Lori. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Sadly, Laura, I think it's the media really anywhere. You can't trust them to ask the right questions. She was hospitalized really rough. They said it was caused by a collision with a bus, but after when he was questioned, he said it wasn't that lady. Yeah, Jen R. So I've heard a couple conflicting statements, especially coming by way of this bus driver. First, he said it wasn't that fast. So the bottom line is whatever happened conflicts with the narrative that they're presenting. And none of it, hey, Quillfish, and none of it's coming from Virginia herself. It's not like she has an open dialogue about it. You're just taking the news story for what it is and trying to get something out of it. Well, we know she's dead. What's the story with this? What's the story with this school bus then? Do you think that would be a fairly an easy thing to find out? Oh, you know it, Ink. Let me read this to you, though. So this is coming from the New York Post. Take it for what it's worth. Trying to find some words about this bus driver. Virginia Guiffre, the most prominent victim in late pedo Jeffrey Epstein, took her own life Thursday. Are you sure? Are you sure she took her own life Thursday? See, even look at this. How do you know? Especially when it comes to this, it's that opening statement. These people do this for a living, for crying out loud. Reports. At least you could have started it with reports coming out of wherever are. But what are you supposed to do? They're really presenting it as she took her own life. You're telling me this is one of the toughest women out there, probably under the most scrutiny. There's a lot of heat on her no matter what, from people who have resources, means, and a history of offing people in just such scenarios. In fact, it happens all of the time. So they're saying that she passed away last night in this story on her farm in Western Australia. The 41-year-old's family said in a statement to NBC News. God knows where that's fucking coming from. She lost her life to suicide. I don't believe that. After being a lifelong victim of SA and sex trafficking. This woman had so much support around her. First responders found Jeffrey unresponsive in her home near Perth And first responders. Oh, fuck off. First responders found Guiffre unresponsive in her home near Perth, and local authorities said her death is being probed by major crime detectives. It doesn't matter. They can still hide that fucking information nonetheless. You guys do a real thorough job there. It doesn't matter. It's the same drawer, slammed shut and locked. But early indications is the death is not suspicious. Get the fuck out of here, the BBC reported. That was in quotes, thank God. Nothing suspicious to see here. Other than this, Guiffre took legal action against billionaire financier Epstein in 2015, alleging that she was trafficked at 16 after his ex-lover and convicted Madam Ghislaine Maxwell. Ghislaine. Oh, it's Ghislaine. Recruited her from her job as a locker room attendant. That Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort of all places. Great. Just what he needed. That's actually probably illegal. You should sue Ghislaine for soliciting a minor on your property. I don't know how you can get back at that. Jesus Christ. So it goes on to say, see, they contradict. It's pandering to the audience. It's contradicting itself. Like she was motivated by her daughter's birth to fight back even harder against these traffickers. Oh, and then just fucking let everybody down. Then just screw off on life. After spending so much time on, and she understood the potential that she may lose her life, and indicated that she in no way was suicidal, and she didn't plan on being suicidal in the near future. The mum of three also alleged she was forced to have sex with disgraced Prince Andrew 3 times. That must have been horrible for you. No doubt about it. Where a notorious photo of her posing with King Charles' brother was taken, okay? The allegations became the biggest scandal to rock the royal family in a generation. It's because you ignore all the rest. Prince Andrew has long denied the allegations in front of a camera, but he settled out of court with his accuser for a hefty $12 million in 2022. I can be easily bought. That'd do it for me. I'd shut the hell up. I'm good. Virginia was a fierce warrior in the fight against sexual abuse and sex trafficking. She was the light that lifted so many survivors. Now she's an example. In the end, the toll of abuse is so heavy that it became unbearable for Virginia to handle its weight. I'd say that's that statement right there. Somebody that's, I don't buy this. Look at who wrote that? Somebody in the Mossad? I'd say she handled the abuse just fine in that sense. And the money that she was getting out of it really helped out. And she was looking forward to hopefully living a long, long time, enjoying the money that Prince Andrew gave her. That would be one reason not to commit suicide. I don't know about any of you, but she wouldn't have gone through what you would think was the legwork and the hard work At this point in her life, she could have afforded any health care available privately. So you're telling me that her family is saying this about her, that the reason that she committed suicide, here's my statement, the reason she committed suicide was because of the weight of all of the damage, as horrid of an experience that it was, finally took its toll and it caught up with her, and that's it. That makes no sense. That makes no sense. It's one thing if she was bottling it all inside and she was continuing to deteriorate, but that's not how she was. Her life was always improving. She was fighting for a better tomorrow. She had 3 children to live for. She had 12 million fucking pounds of Prince Andrew's money. I'm sure he wants back. I feel sorry for her kids too, Kit. There's no possible way that I would accept as her family member. They probably, did they get paid off? Who knows? You can't take any of these quotes as legitimate fact. It just wants to paint a picture in your mind, and the fact that somebody's up in the editorial department making it look a certain way is disappointing. But that's why you buy these things when you're rich, so you can have them say anything that you want, right? With you all out there expecting that you're going to get the truth and some just great journalism. Journalism's a popularity contest anymore. It's not actual. It's not real. It's bullshit, friends. Hell no. There's no way that this woman is enjoying all of Prince Andrew's money and other people's money, hush money. You got all kinds of, she's fucking all kinds of settlements, boy. There's at least 3 or 4 settlements there from Alan Dershowitz, Ghislaine Maxwell. So whoever's else is involved that we don't know about probably has all kinds of pseudonyms and secondary names. Still back there pulling the strings to protect themselves because they were probably the layer. And I don't want to say it. It's like a brief window into the shady world of intelligence services. Not the kind that you read about in exciting fucking thriller novels. Good to see you, Star. And she's only 41. So this is a bizarre photo too. So this is the photo that they say she shared. It looks like what it looks like is like a hostage video when somebody's been roughed up a little bit and their hood pulled off and in front of a camera and they're trying to prod them to say something. There's an added stress in front of it, duress. Well, I'm sure she's stressed. Get in front of that camera and tell them that you got 4 days. Tell them the doctor said that you got 4 days to live. So it gets put in the headlines. We're not done arranging your suicide. The bus driver Russ. Here we go. Bus driver Munns, Ross Munns, Munns, claimed Jeffrey had blown it out of proportion, and that the bus carrying 29 children merely clipped the Toyota Highlander being driven by a 71-year-old woman with Jeffrey in the passenger seat. Who the fuck was that? The driver pulled out in front of me. I made sure she was all right, and I went and did a police report. Muntz told the Daily Mail. She was elderly, and I asked if she was okay, and she said, "Yeah, I'm okay." Well, why would the person in the passenger seat be worse off? Muntz further claimed that he didn't even notice a passenger in the car, only learning later, when informed by local police about the accident. This does seem like an arranged situation. Who were contacted by the unidentified driver the following day, according to the outlet. What? Munz further claimed that he didn't even notice a passenger in the car, only learning later when informed by local police about the accident, who were contacted by the unidentified driver the following day. So the 71-year-old woman is unidentified. That's a problem. That's probably what I wonder how much money she's on the take for. Your friend. None of this makes sense, does it? For such a story, there's so many loose ends in all of this. So how can you say that it was suicide? Oh, definitely suicide here. This is definitely suicide, guys. I'll bring in my detectives, but I'm pretty sure it's suicide. You're not supposed to say that word here on YouTube, by the way. Muntz further claimed that he didn't even notice a passenger in the car, only learning later when informed by local police about the accident, who were contacted by the unidentified driver the following day, according to... So you're telling me the unidentified person, the 71-year-old driver, went and called police and then told the police that Virginia was in the car. Then that's when and everybody learned. So they had to write that into their police report. So this was this bus driver, responsible enough to get a job driving a bus full of kids to school, clips a car. There'll be a protocol if something happens. He goes out and makes sure, okay, that the people in the car, the person that he clipped, the 71-year-old woman he clipped, is okay. There was no other person that he saw there. You think that somebody who's so fucked up from a car accident wouldn't be too far away. So the police department, it sounds like, are in on this. And they're actively manipulating what's actually happened, because how can they verify? Are you sure there wasn't 5 or 6 other people in that fucking car with you? Do they all need to make insurance claims too? Like, if it was that bad, why weren't the police on scene? Why weren't things cordoned off and an investigation done right there and then? If it was that severe of a situation to put her in the hospital and go, well, I'm not sure if she was in dialysis, but her kidneys were shutting down because of what? Nobody was there to witness it. This is so bizarre. Jeffrey later claimed she suffered years of physical abuse at the hands of her husband, Robert Jeffrey. The couple recently split after 22 years of marriage. Oh, just to top it right off, there's your distraction. Oh, and here's your added distraction at the end. By the way, we're finding out now that we're actually reading in her diary that she's really suffered 22 years of horrible abuse by this son of a bitch husband of hers. That should just about do it. I had 3 kids with the guy. 3 kids and $12 million. They must have been fighting over what to spend that money over, I bet. No, I want the Bugatti. I want the Lambo. Definitely Lambo territory there. Oh boy. I don't trust anybody. Oh shit. Especially when you're reading it. Well, this is too many questions. I don't know what everybody else is saying around there. Everybody's a little critical, no matter where you go, about the stories that are coming through. Considering everybody else is dropping like flies. And when, like, look at how Jeffrey Epstein went. The official cause of death was unaliving by strangulation. One, they say that there's no place to hang yourself in these particular cells. In he was in Manhattan, wasn't he? He's wherever Diddy is right now. They got away with that. Good to see you, JP. Yeah, you don't believe it either, Lindy? We're never going to get the truth. You're just going to have to speculate a little bit in the right place. Never will we hear the truth about this. I don't know, Jen R. I don't even trust the photographs. Like, who's the person? They say Virginia's sharing these things herself. Who's to say that before all of this happened, who's to say that she wasn't under blackmail? Who's to say that she wasn't being intimidated or coerced in a certain way to post things? Because I'm not even, I don't 100% believe this photograph that she put out. Like, I've been in situations where people could get fucked up in car accidents. I've seen the aftermath, and it's almost uncontrollable. Like, Victoria doesn't look or Virginia doesn't look all that bad in that photograph. That's not because she's drop dead gorgeous. It's because she's probably got a real good makeup artist. I hate sitting here alleging all of this on somebody that's just passed away, but I'm saying you can make an argument that this person in her situation could be under some sort of pressure in the background because that threat would have always been there going through in the spotlight of these ongoing trials. There's always a camera crew and everybody is interested in it. Now there's all of this work to do to question the narrative, right? See how easy it was just to weave a narrative and put it out there? How do you know with all of these questions, you're doing an awful lot of assuming, in my opinion. I'd say anytime a person like this in her situation ends up dying, it's suspicious. But it seems that cops never do. Why don't cops ever think that things are suspicious? Because they're told not to, is my expectation. There's a certain element of do as you're told. Oh, look at this. US Weekly has a timeline of key events before her death. Oh, you've already been through those. In February 2022, according to documents filed and obtained by US Weekly, the case was settled out of court for an undisclosed amount of money. A letter was submitted to the United States District Court in New York City explaining that the parties plan on filing a stipulation dismissing the case within 30 days. Prince Andrew intends to make a substantial donation to Miss Jeffrey's charity in support of victims' rights, the letter read. Prince Andrew has never intended to malign Miss Jeffrey's character, and he accepts that she has suffered both an established victim of abuse and as a result of unfair public attacks. Jeffrey posted a disturbing photo via Instagram on March 30th, 2025, and explained that she was hit by a school bus traveling at 110 kilometers per hour. Let's get one thing straight right now. Let's get one thing straight. Pegasus, if you search the term Pegasus in Mossad, you'll get into probably an area of really interesting software that are used by security services, enabled that are all they need is your number, really, that they can go and break into your phone anywhere, plant evidence, communicate with anybody else in your contact lists, your accounts remotely, and you wouldn't even notice it. It exists. So how do you know that what we're seeing is really posts by Virginia Jeffrey? Because it's really an account can be hacked. People can be manipulated. And how do you know that she was even living way back at March 30th? How do you know that the person wasn't offed, and then because of how it was done, nobody, say it was in the middle of a rural area, nobody saw or nobody heard, and you had all of the information, and you can carry on as though this person is still living by posting certain things at certain dates for a later point when investigators come back and try to put together the circumstances leading up to your disappearance or your death. Okay. Yet it's well known that agencies such as the one that would have been involved in this circumstance at a much greater level use that sort of software. Yeah, that's the point, JP. We don't know. But I'm telling you, nothing seems right about this. I'm just making a possible argument. It's plausible. Now, Jeffrey posted a disturbing photo. This is where it got me off on that tangent. Jeffrey posted a disturbing photo via Instagram on March 30th, 2025, and explained that she was hit by a school bus, traveling at 110 kilometers an hour. As a result, she claimed that doctors have said she has only 4 days to live. This year has been the worst start to a new year, but I won't bore anyone with the details. First of all, let me just interject here. The last thing that I would be thinking about doing is making a goddamn social media post if I was just smoked by a bus at fucking 70 miles an hour. I got better things to worry about. You want a picture? You come see me to the hospital. You can take a selfie with me. Why is she making it look a certain way? Why is she posting? Why is she getting an angle from a hospital bed? You know, first of all, I don't even think she's holding that goddamn camera. Like, isn't she supposed to be all fucked up in a hospital bed? Why is she posting selfies and having these deep messages, these communications that are oh so important after the fact? Fucking breaking the matrix. This is bullshit. So you're telling me that March 30th, she's posting, she's so hurt, she's so injured from getting hit by a bus that nobody witnessed her, including the bus driver that hit this 71-year-old woman. That was only verified after the fact, after the woman apparently called in. How do you know it was a woman? It wasn't the intelligence agencies using voice altering software to talk to the cops over the phone and wanting to update your police report for this accident that happened to make it look like, oh, it sounds like a perfect exit strategy in my mind. To cover up your murder that you committed before March 30th, or then there around that point. Hey, everybody, I'm so dedicated. I'm such a hard fucking fighter here. I'm so dedicated to bringing you messages from the social media sphere that I've even... I don't worry about my own health in this moment in time. Take a look at me, everybody. Take a look at my face. What? Like, that's another level of narcissism that I don't think that's applicable here, but that's what they want you to believe. I don't believe this post was as legitimate as they're wanting to portray. I could think about all kinds of different times it would be, to take a selfie and post it. So this reasoning probably has dual purposes. So when you want to sell the story to the cops, because they had to change the accident story to include Virginia in the passenger seat of a minor motor vehicle accident. Well, there's a bus full of kids there. I wonder what that bus full of kids said. It couldn't have been that. None of them had seatbelts on. It couldn't have been that bad. So they amended the story of what happened. The bus driver was the one who filed the police report. What? What? So the person... This stinks to high heaven. This is mind-fucking me. This year has been the worst start to a new year, but I won't bore anyone with the details. Yeah, this is the message with this photo. But I won't bore anybody with the details. Well, don't you think it's a bit important? What's the point of bringing this in front of us? But I think it's important to note that when a school bus driver comes at you driving 110 kilometers an hour, as we were slowing for a turn, that no matter how is this fucker, how is your mind so vivid. If you just went through this level of trauma, okay, that's shooken your core to cause your kidneys to fail. How is your memory so key in that moment where you've got to go make an Instagram post, if not to try to add some sort of contextual value to a claim that you're hoping sticks after the fact? It's just a narrative build, right? Now, I understand I'm going way out there according to what's available. Yeah, got her snipe. Yeah. Isn't that bizarre words? It doesn't even sound like it's coming from her. It doesn't sound like it's a genuine person speaking. This year has been the worst start to a new year. Christ, you were March 30th. You're still talking about the new year? It sounds like somebody else making this up for her and pressing send, making it look like. I don't know what to say about that. It looks like she went swimming in like a shit tank. I've gone into kidney renal failure. They've given me 4 days to live, transferring me to a specialist hospital in urology, she continued. I'm ready to go, just not until I see my babies one last time. Get the fuck out of here. So now you're telling me that she's posting disturbing self-harm. She's ready to go. She was barely in this accident. And now she's posting publicly on Instagram that she's ready to die in that sense. And now this. I'm with Jimmy. If you guys believe this, then I've got a vaccine I want to sell you. But you know what they say about wishes? Shit in one hand and wish in the other, and I guarantee it's still going to be shit at the end of the day. Thank you all for being wonderful people of the world and for being a great part of my life. God bless you all, Virginia. Yeah, no. But think about how effective that is. Think about how effective it is to be able to get in to this person, essentially hack into their social media, immediately capture the narrative, take a photo of them in duress and just make up a quotation to everybody to minimize the impact of whatever the hell is actually going on at that point in time. Always fucking question. Always. And Virginia did enough of that well before any of this accident happened and this kidney failure happened. But they still choose to go and publish this fucking garbage. Do you know why? Because those same elitists are controlled by the same people who are covering it up, who they own the media outlets. This is why we get fed this nonsense. And we're supposed to lap it up and love it. I'm really fucking terrified for our futures. Our children's. Hey, sweet tea. That's a possibility too. Like that would be right. I mean, how are we to tell from a still photograph like that? But I mean, there's something else that's affecting her, the coloration of her skin. Kidneys are failing. That could do it, I guess. Look, they're going to have to do a lot better than this story. It's so elaborate and after the fact. A portion of it seems a little bit desperate to cover up your tracks by a person who knows it's a stupid story, but nonetheless, it's still going to be the story that you go through with in the paper. Why? Because you and I have no other choice than to consume it. And then it's up to us to question it. And then when we question it, then they come after us and nail us down and hammer us down. And we get, disappeared or suicided. Yeah, there is a dead look in her eyes in that sense. I mean, it's a possibility. I could expect that this photo could be manipulated, like the coloring, the lighting. Like Adobe has some great products, and we'd never know the difference in that sense. So you could essentially bring a corpse back to life to a degree, if coloration is all you're looking for, but enough to fool you into not recognizing a dead body when you see it. But the only thing that I say is if you look at her eyes, you can still see moisture in her eyes. I don't know if that's an indicator, because glossy eyes are usually an indicator of being alive. Don't quote me on that, though. To me, still your systems are still working. Something's working in there. So when she was in hospital, Jenna is saying people were calling for proof of life. Then the picture of her driving, giving the finger salute was posted. Shady. Yeah, it seems very awful. Yeah, eye drops, Kit Bridge. That's a good one. Eye drops after the fact. That's a good point. Thank you. So people were already out questioning this bullshit as it was happening, most likely because it's very uncharacteristic of Virginia to be, doing things that are just off-colored, off-handed. This is True Ink. It's bizarre, too, that she's sitting in a hospital bed with her jewelry on. She's still got her earrings. She's got her a locket around her neck. Like, don't they usually take these things in an emergency situation? They take them off you? No, I'm with you. You don't have to convince me of that. You can see the cover up. I'm ready to go. Just not until it reeks of a plan, right? You're so worried about you're more worried about the world than you are about yourself in that moment. I fucking doubt it. You need to touch base with the rest of the world in order to tell them all that you're not to worry about you because you're ready to go on to the other side. Get the fuck out of here. I'm not ready to go until all of that 12 million pounds is fucking spent. Know what I mean? I've got everything in order for my children. All of a sudden, you just don't piss off at life because You got in a little car accident. It's an inconvenience, but we can afford it. It's not like you're going to miss any work. We don't need to work. We got all that Prince, we got all that royal money. Damn. We don't know how much money she's got. She settled out of court, of course, but it's probably more than we have. More than I got for now. Until XRP goes to the moon. Let me see. Yeah, that can happen anytime, right? Anytime now. Just 1 second. Think about how pissed off Prince Andrew is, though. Think about how embarrassing that has to be for Prince Andrew. Like, what Virginia Guiffre did in this circumstance when she came forward and people started to ask questions and they couldn't, it was too much. They couldn't do enough to cover up. Something had to break. So we have to assume that Prince Andrew was in the wrong, right? But it was so damning he had to step away from his royal duties. Holy shit. Like, usually, for thousands of years, people be getting away with shit like this. Not that it's right. But all of a sudden, the pressure's on. Prince Andrew has to give up and he's got to take the full brunt of this experiment. This embarrassment. Oh, man. That's what happens when you fuck around. Even you're beyond the rules that the royal family set, and there's not too many. You go far above and beyond that to piss everybody else off inside the royal family, where your mom's got to fucking take your, she's got to take your rights away, your titles. That doesn't happen very often. That's more telling than anything, I would think. Beyond any court in the land. That Queen Elizabeth revoked your titles, and that's fucking embarrassing. He must be stewing about that on a daily basis. He must think about it all the fucking time. So at what point, like, so much has come out already about this. People are so up in arms about this, about the list. Never going to see that list. What do you want to do with it anyway? You want to celebrate it? I don't know. I think I've heard a couple different ways. The doctor said if you don't take this, if you don't have this procedure, you'll only have 4 days to live. I'm just quoting what I've heard, though. I don't know what was said. So here's the problem that I have with this photograph. If you zoom in on it and you take a look at her eyebrows, she's got marks out of her eyebrows. Like, was she plucking her eyebrows at the time of the accident? Because when a person's eyebrows are nicked like that, it means they have a deeper gash wound underneath. But these gash wounds seem to have healed over within minutes, within seconds. They're not consistent with an actual wound, like a gash. There's no breaking of the skin. There's discoloration as though she's got like a 5 o'clock shadow. And God bless Virginia. Like, I'm not trying to diss her looks. I'm questioning the validity of this photograph in the first place. Like, it looks to be more dirt than anything. They want it to represent deep bruising. There's no swelling. You think that for somebody, if she's that fucking bad, you would be so swollen up. And your eyes aren't black. Her eyes aren't blackened or swollen. It looks to be like somebody got hit with a tennis ball or something. Looks like somebody threw a tennis ball at your eye, and there's some discoloration. But the discoloration takes up the majority of the eye, which is inconsistent with a really black eye, right? Like when you get punched in the fucking eye, your eyelid swells up, your eye swells closed. It's a protection mechanism. It doesn't look like her eyes are swollen shut in that sense. It looks like coal dust. And I mean, like, what's going on with her eyebrow? You're saying friction? You're going to want me to tell me that friction took that off? Bullshit. There'd be some sort of penetration or a contusion or a gash in her eyebrow. There's not. And why is the bruising and discoloration only limited to certain portions of her face and not, say, on her shoulders, her arms? It doesn't look like anything. She looks like she just rolled out of bed after a hard night partying. Yeah, I'm just questioning it, Taze. I don't know. I'm just trying to imagine. I'm trying to talk myself out of what it is I'm thinking at the same time. So she posts this video and tells everybody she's got 4 days to live. And not just that, Taze. She's ready to die. She wants the world to know. Who the fuck does that? Everybody. I was just in this horrible accident. I'm ready to go. See you guys on the other side. What the fuck? Oh, shit. No way. However, if you're trying to cover up your tracks in murder, that's the sort of thing that you would probably try to pull. Listen, we've got to plant some evidence, like the last time that she was seen on social media. Oh, well, wouldn't you know it? See, it seems more like a subtle insult. You know what they say about wishes: shit in one hand and wish in the other. And I guarantee it's still going to be shit at the end of the day. So all of a sudden she's talking about shit. It seems more like a subtle insult by whoever is actually writing this. In the same post, you're talking about you're ready to go, but not until you see your children one last time. That seems more like something that uh, an interrogator would say in a session of torture. Are you going to tell me? If you don't tell me, you're never going to see your kids again. See, you bring all of these things in. You're using it as leverage over her. At the same time, subtly calling her a piece of shit. All words and statements that could be used by the assailant. See, they just want you at home to think that this is how your life is going to end up if you're a lifelong victim of SA and sex trafficking. Fuck, some women make good money at that shit. Some women do it by choice. Now, Jeffrey's family confirmed in a statement. I'm not saying that that's what happened here necessarily, but we know her story. We know her story and how it's come full circle. It didn't end in tragedy. It ended in almost vindication. It's ended in a controversy. The only person to be thinking about all of that is a person trying to get away with murder in that moment, JP, because they're really adding all of the questions an investigator would be looking for of the circumstances leading up to anything suspicious in this circumstance. And they've put it all in these little posts that are leading you to believe, a person who's looking for answers, that, oh, well, that's easy for the investigators. Let's go take a look at her social media, the same social media that you just hacked, and essentially planted evidence to steer investigators clear away from any sort of suspicious wrongdoing, because she was making posts claiming to be, well, suicidal. But in the same time, she's really joking. Are you sure? I would have thought that it would be a little bit more depressing if she's gotten to the point where she thinks that she's got to take her own life because she can't get to dialysis quick enough. There's a little bit more to the story. I wonder what she took to make her kidneys fail. You guys know about that shellfish poison? That induces heart attacks, though. Several poisons and toxins can cause kidney failure, either acutely or chronically, by damaging kidney tissue, disrupting filtration, or causing systemic offense. Lead, mercury, cadmium, arsenic, ethylene glycol, carbon tetrachloride, paraquat. Ethylene glycol antifreeze. She like Coca-Cola, I wonder? Metabolites like oxalic acid from crystals in kidney tubules, causing acute kidney failure. Medications and drugs. Ooh, acetaminophen, that's Tylenol. Natural toxins, mushroom toxins. Oxalate containing plants. Aristolic, whatever the hell that is, acid. Glyphosate in high doses. Organophosphates. Easy for me to say. What? Organophosphates, you idiot, can indirectly cause kidney damage through systemic toxicity. Venoms and animal toxins, snake venom from vipers and rattlesnakes can cause direct kidney damage, including acute failure. Bee or wasp venom. Illicit substances, cocaine can. Methanol. Methanol? The hell is that? Methanol. Isn't it a fuel? Symptoms of kidney failure from poisoning. Let's go symptoms of kidney failure. Decreased urine output, swelling, edema, fatigue, nausea, and confusion. Interesting. Fatigue, but she wasn't too fatigued to go to social media and post to all of the people around the world. And she didn't seem all that confused in her statements, did she? Oh, no, glycol, antifreeze. There's a lot of stories out there. Inside out, there's a lot of stories out there about traditional poisoners, like people who poison other people with antifreeze would choose to hide it in Coca-Cola in that sense because of its sweetness. When that happened on March 30th, it's such a bizarre scenario at that point in time. People, including myself and those who are suspicious and skeptical about it, it's almost like the writing on the wall. Like the post that sent itself doesn't make sense, but it has all of the indicators in it, which would make you question if somebody hacked into the account, because it's so off and not normal to the narrative that's occurring. All of a sudden, after all of these years, your last post is one that you're ready to go. Oh, don't worry about me, everybody. I'm ready to go. Now that I won all of that settlement money against Prince Andrew and Dershowitz and Ghislaine Maxwell, I was vindicated. Now it's ready to go. Now you're ready to go. Get the hell out of here. So this is highlighting a timeline of key events. What happened there? Is there anything interesting in this? Probably not. Where the hell is Near Gabby, Australia? I'm going to go find that right now. Where's my Google Earth? Oh shit, that's a nice place. Right on the west coast of Australia. Not very many people live there though. It's just north of Perth. Oh, she's really desolate. So this is where she is right here. There's a whole lot of nothing. I think Perth has a population of like 1 million. But there's a whole lot of nothing out there on that side of Australia. See if we can see any ruse. So they got a school bus, probably happened on a rural route. That's one thing for sure. It did happen in a rural setting. Jeffrey lost her life to suicide after being a lifelong victim of sexual abuse and sex trafficking, her family said via the statement to People on Friday. I wouldn't trust that. They must be paraphrasing. Her children's names are Christian, Noah, and Emily. So here's some key events. 2000 to 2001, alleged incidents involving Prince Andrew occurred. 2015, Jeffrey's allegations against Prince Andrew emerge in Epstein court documents. During Epstein's ongoing legal dramas relating to sex trafficking of minors, court documents emerged in Florida April 2015 that alleged Prince Andrew had sex with Jeffrey when she was 17, which is under the age of consent in Florida. In response, Buckingham Palace denied the accusation against Prince Andrew at this time. So, I'm not trying to minimize the crime at all. But in Britain, what's the age? Isn't it 16? It wouldn't matter, obviously, because it happened in Florida. But why? There had to have been more than just that particular incident that ruined Prince Andrew. That probably was, it probably was the uncovering of his business dealings and just how deep his involvement went within this little organization of Epstein's. Because, and the fact that he lied about it. There has to be more to it, but we're not privy to. While awaiting trial for sex trafficking charges, Epstein is found dead by suicide. There they go again, at New York City's Metropolitan Correction Center. Impossible to get into. I wonder who did that. 3 months later, Prince Andrew sat down for his infamous BBC interview where he attempted to downplay his accusations with the late Epstein. Despite photo evidence existing of Prince Andrew and Jeffrey standing side by side, the Duke of York raised eyebrows when denied ever crossing paths with her during an interview. See, there must have been some sort of miscommunication there. Usually the BBC's in the royal family's pocket in that sense. Maybe Prince Andrew was assuming that, this was going to fit that bill. Like, why wouldn't you just go along with the narrative that Prince Andrew was so kindly, allowing you into? He's some royal private lives, madam. Like, he wasn't expecting to be made to look like a tool. Or maybe Prince Andrew didn't think that he looked that bad in that interview. He was fucking sweating a little bit in that interview, and he was denying sweating. This guy. Dude. He said he had no recollection of ever meeting this lady, none whatsoever. Now, why isn't that believable? Why couldn't that have just been it? Why couldn't Prince Andrew just say, you know what? Uh, you know, to be fair, the guy probably meets a lot of people in that sense. Why wasn't his denial of ever knowing her just good enough? I don't know her. Because the evidence probably stated otherwise, combined with her story. Following the broadcast of the interview, Andrew announced that he would be taking a step back from his duties as the member of the British royal family because his mom told him to. It has become clear to me over the past few days that the circumstance relating to my former association with Jeffrey Epstein has become a major disruption. So it's more about Epstein than it is. There's got to go so much deeper. There's got to be so much that we don't know. Has become a major disruption to my family's work and the valuable work going on in the many organizations and charities, which are all scams that you're proud to support. Therefore, I have asked Her Majesty if I may step back from public duties for the foreseeable future, and she has given her permission. Oh, thank you. So a civil lawsuit was launched in August 2021 against Prince Andrew by Jeffrey, who accused him of sexually assaulting her when she was underage. The former royal attempted to have the former royal. But can he still be royal? Isn't he still a royal? The former royal attempted to have the case against him thrown out, but a New York judge rejected this attempt. Prince Andrew agreed to settle his lawsuit in February 2022, according to documents filed. He must be in deep. He must have been in deep. They had to totally take him out of royal life, disavow him in order to keep the peace in that sense. To not be associated with any of the wrongdoing that's going to eventually come out if they don't hurry up and kill everybody who knows something. Prince Andrew intends to make a substantial donation. We read that. They settled out of court for an undisclosed amount of money. A letter was submitted to the United States District Court in New York City explaining that the party's plan. Prince Andrew probably turned around and said, you go take her out or no Christmas bonus this year. March 2025. So this is the bus accident. We just read this. See, the way this is portraying, they've got no fucking question. I'll bring this back up. It really worries me when you read these stories that have so many holes and so many questions in them, but yet they're presenting it as it is a suicide. It is this. It is that. Well, how can you say what it is when you don't have the answers to everything else? You don't know what it is yet. It's just that you don't want to question the boss. To me, that's just the ultimate fuck you. That's an ultimate. This is like a more elaborate, modernized way of suiciding somebody. Isn't that what it looks like to everybody else? Does it look like that to you? It looks like that to me. Because there's nothing saying that the death squad, the Einsatzgruppen, didn't just come in here, grab her fucking camera, off her, take a picture of her, get into her account, post all of this, and then keep her body and keep all of these doctors on the down low, or they'll be next. That way, all of the papers that she's already well known, people will pick up on the story because everybody's looking at what this person is posting on social media, that person posting on social media. We'll get a load of this. For a person who's so fucked up they certainly seem to have some clear thoughts, and they have all of their future planned out already. Well, it's time to go. Then after the fact, they had to fabricate this story by calling the cops afterwards and letting them know that Virginia Jeffrey was in the passenger seat of that vehicle. An unnamed 71-year-old was driving. Don't you think that it would be who was the 71-year-old? The secretary at Mossad? Absolutely, Inc. So Jen R, where can I see more of this? I'm going to have to do some more looking into this. It's sticking in my mind. This is about as believable as Jeffrey Epstein dying of suicide in that sense. They're probably connected. You think it's the same person? That would be efficient, wouldn't it? Yeah, Ryan Dawson's his name. I'll check out that name afterwards. I was over. So they're talking about, and I understand we're getting into a little bit more, but with all of this mind control thing, people are bringing up the possibility of there being what they call a psychological kill switch. I thought that was interesting. Let me see here. This is all based around trauma-based mind control, of course. So this was a particular transcript that I pulled from Sean Atwood yesterday, who was talking to a former victim of sex trafficking and somebody who's very familiar with MK Ultra level programming and trauma-based mind control scenarios. And they brought up the possibility of these agencies who are known to use these sort of tactics historically might have penetrated her with a kill switch, which is possible. But I'm saying, I think I just laid out just as a simpler scenario. Like a person with the Pegasus software they can either use the software or they can do it in real time if they wanted to. You could really essentially kidnap the person, grab them, have access to all their social media accounts, and then all of a sudden these reports that are flooding the mainstream media of how she's died by suicide is all based off of phony posts on her social media, on her Instagram. When I say phony, I mean could very well be done by somebody else. Like I've never seen anybody be posting from a bed after, or being suicidal from a hospital bed looking like that, doing it like this. It's very bizarre. It's almost contrary to being in a life and death situation. Aren't you a little bit more concerned about your own personal health as opposed to what in the fuck a bunch of strangers on the internet are going to think in the moment? Well, you would think so. But I think it works on just how suggestible the mass majority of people are when they see headlines, and they work on that. I think all of that research went into. to train you not to ask questions. You don't have to think. We'll do the thinking for you. In my world, every death is suspicious. I err on the side of caution. As natural as it is, every death's suspicious. Oh, yeah, I saw that, Kitbridge. Yeah, I saw that vehicle. The vehicle broke down because of the amount of people that it hit. He didn't stop. It broke down. That tells you how hard, how quickly he was driving through that pack of people. Just another mass casualty event. We never used to have these, We never used to have these weird mass casualty events on the scale that there is now. And it keeps getting worse. Now, I've got some theories as to why. It has to do with the electromagnetic radiation in your pineal gland. That's for another time. I think you very much could be right, Ink. I never want to base anything off of a photo that's been fed to me that I suspect has been manipulated or tampered with. I'll say it right away. I don't believe the photo. Whether or not she's dead or alive in the photo, I don't want to be making a judgment. But I don't believe whatever those injuries are supposed to be aren't consistent with typical injuries that you see with people that have been in a car accident. Or anybody who's sick for that matter. It looks like Bombshell Reloaded. Do you remember her Bombshell? When she used to take all kinds of pictures and post them on X about hurting herself to generate some sympathy for some donos. It seems a bit like that. Only this is a little different. But they'll play off people's lack of knowledge. They'll say, oh God, I seen the photo and man, she looked horrible. But they wouldn't know the difference in the first place. You're right, Lori. In fact, you can almost disbelieve it if they're presenting it to you. Anyway, are you guys watching? You're following Sebastian Rogers in that sense. Most of you are. Most of you will. Have you seen Chris Proudfoot's? Did you see Chris Proudfoot's latest? What do we call it? Tyrant or tirade? I guess we'll call it. It was a bit of a tirade. I think he was flipping off at. You correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was Jay for Justice. So Jay's pissed Chris off, but he's on the internet. He's got a whole slew of these one-liners, which were mildly entertaining. But talking about another motherfucker trying to get away with something, Chris Proudfoot is one of them. I don't believe a goddamn thing that comes that way. Katie, Chris Proudfoot have everything to do with Sebastian Rogers' disappearance. Absolutely, they do. And the fact that it bothers Chris to no end about what a bunch of people's opinions are on the internet tells you so much about his mindset, his preparedness psychologically for the situation that he's found himself in. Oh, fuck. I think I saw that on Shay. Was it Shay's Safe Space? Shay's Safe Space. I believe maybe Jewels of Thought played it as well. I'll pull that up in a sec. Let me pull this up. And I wanted to talk about too, Susan, because you can't find that stream anymore. Susan Bennett went up on Buddies and straightened him out over some of the bullshit that he was spinning against Brandy Neal, which is way too far and it's uncalled for. He's a dirty son of a bitch in that sense, but Susan went up there to let him know to take her wrench. It was fantastic. Oh yeah, Lori. Listen, they they're the stupidest son of a bitches I've ever seen. They've got all of the evidence. This is a legitimate missing child's case. This is a legitimate missing person. Sebastian just up and disappeared. Yep, that's all there is to it. Fuck those bouncing flashlights in his backyard at 3 a.m. They had no concern over. They didn't even want to question him for the longest time. There was nothing. They don't know what it was. It had nothing to do with Sebastian's disappearance. Well, how do you know? Boy, there's a couple concerned parents right there, aren't there? The first suspicious thing, they turn the other way. They don't even want to look. They don't even want to know. Why? Because it's probably fucking them. It's probably them. And this guy is so worried. This Chris Proudfoot is so worried about what a bunch of strangers are saying at any one time on the internet about how suspicious his punk ass looks. Not to mention Katie, that he's got to throw a rangy. He's got to throw a tirade. How do you think that he dealt with a teenager or a child or a kid that said no to him or didn't like to follow his punk ass rules? He shows how impulsive he is, how poorly controlled his temper is. In light of being right. Aren't you right about everything? Aren't you right about everything, Chris Proudfoot? You don't have anything to worry about. Why would you be so upset if there wasn't something to be upset about? Like the truth being exposed about why exactly Sebastian isn't around anymore. See, from people who recognize this is just a carbon copy scenario. Of course, you don't expect him to tell the truth. You expect him to try to cover up his tracks. But you also expect a half-hearted investigation. But that's where they played the odds because, unfortunately, society doesn't value kids with disabilities like they do the other end of the spectrum. The blue-eyed, blonde-hair girls that are in university, top of their class. That's just human nature. But he takes advantage of the fact that law enforcement couldn't be in any worse of a scenario, especially in Tennessee. Corruption? Oh, yeah. They're more worried about keeping their own jobs and questioning the status quo than solving any fucking scenario, because any monkey can see, any idiot can see that Katie and Chris Proudfoot are as guilty as fuck. They not only do not care about their child, they're too busy portraying it as though they're the victims in a joking manner. That way it sets people's minds at ease. They're really worried about what other people have to think about them. See, people who are innocent in any wrongdoing in this case don't really fucking care. But Chris really cares. Chris really cares about who is saying what. He is a piece of shit. He is a slimy son of a bitch. Yeah, the distractions will continue to work, Inc. It's how you dumb down a society. It's how you condition a society. Oh, nothing wrong to see here. Nothing to see here. You know, it happens. What's going on, Shay? Are you talking about Chris? Let me pull up your. I think it was yours. I'm sure it was Shay's. if you don't mind. Yeah, it was this Monsters Are Real. Holy fuck, you got some dedicated viewers. You have 471 views and 200 likes on that one. That's pretty good. That's really good. Oh, hold on. This fucking guy. All of a sudden, Chris is worried about people grifting off of his child's name. He's really putting the cart before the horse there. Man, talk about wanting to invent cliche narratives. So this is Monsters Are Real from Shay's Safe Space. And I think it has all of the quotations or all of his statements.
Your fucking bill like your fucking property tax bill, but you're still fucking.
He's all concerned about property tax and people paying property tax bills in that sense. Come on. Uh-oh, what happened? You might have seen that. It's telling me to check my internet connection. Hold on. It seems to be okay. They're all weird to you, Shay?
To make money and shit, you should probably learn how to pay your fucking bill like your fucking property tax bill that you still ain't fucking paid. Now, you want to go real life? I'll go real life, bitch. I done let your ass up.
Oh, Chris, if I were a man in your position and had a stepchild missing, I think I'd be worried about other things instead of threatening women, wouldn't you?
We'll tell you when you read a story about a child that has gone missing. You grab your own child and you hold them close. A parent's worst nightmare. Because every adult knows that there are monsters that lurk in the shadows.
He's very upset about bulletin boards being put up. And if you recall, the pressure's been building. April 2nd, there was an alleged argument in the parking lot of the courthouse. A sheriff was serving a subpoena at the Proudfoot house. Pressure's been building. Now the bulletin boards are out with messages, direct messages, in hopes to find Sebastian and find me. Again, it is a trigger warning, very foul language.
Shay, who was this? Where did you get these sound bites from Chris? Where was this?
Can you hear me? I can. Okay. Are we on the show? Yeah. So you heard you talking about Freaking Jay, right? Yeah. That bitch couldn't get fucked if she ran through a field of dicks backwards for their ass cheeks.
Whoops. That's fairly classy. He's talking about Jay saying that she couldn't get laid if she ran through a field of dicks backwards with her ass cheeks spread. That's a bit graphic, isn't it?
Cheeks spread wide the fuck open. So you can play that shit for that bitch to hear. I think you really want to fucking know. She ain't had her fucking feelings crushed, but I'll do my minimum to fucking destroy her fucking feelings.
Like it's bizarre to me how this Chris Proudfoot thinks that he's so superior over others in this circumstance. That he's got to just poof appear and straighten things out because he's so concerned over possible misinformation or whatever people think about him. Chris, you couldn't look any more suspicious in this circumstance. It reminds me of dirty old man pool hall talk. Yeah, it does. It does. It does resemble like locker room banter. Oh, it's something.
Because quite honestly, that bitch needs to close her fucking mouth before she can stuff a whole goddamn turkey in it and choke on a fucking chicken leg.
You need to shut your mouth before you step on a turkey and choke on a goddamn chicken leg. Like, what is he really saying? He's not saying anything. He's just emoting, forming a distraction, a bit of an attack against Jays for justice. Well, that's fine, but it doesn't make him look any better. Like, what is the purpose of him doing what it is that he's doing? Who acts like that? Who acts like that? A person who can't handle the scenario that they're in. You've got to throw everything out the window, throw your credibility right out the window by throwing new threats, fresh threats. They're not even fucking good. They're funny because you sound like an idiot. That's the only reason that they're entertaining. You know, people will be talking how suspicious you look, Chris and Katie, for the foreseeable future. You two walk around here like you have nothing to be embarrassed about. That shows everything. That shows your hand, Chris. You guys should be fucking embarrassed. There's a real problem going on in that household, and it has a big capital Y-O-U on it.
On the way down, and hell, by doing it, she might actually do something good for her kids and her husband. So fuck that bitch. I'm sick and tired of listening to this fucking bitch run her mouth about me.
Then
He's so sick and tired. He's so sick and tired about what somebody else is saying on a YouTube channel. Dude, you can turn the channel. You can go watch something else. But you can't, can you? You've got to stay on top of all of the whispers and the suspicions that are out there. Why? Because the only people that really interact with people that way are individuals who have something to hide. You looking for some sort of notoriety over this clusterfuck that you and Katie created? That's disgusting.
why in the hell are you listening to YouTube? Why in the hell are you wasting your time listening to what people on YouTube says? Why ain't you out looking for Sebastian, you low-life bastard?
Oh, he was talking about Brittany J. Not J's for Justice. Okay, another J. Brittany J. Okay. Okay.
My wife, my family, anybody else out there, when that bitch ain't she was fucking the women, she was a goddamn perfect person. Fuck her.
I can't argue any of that, but you
And
can.
anybody that fucks with her can fuck off too.
That's
Okay.
agree.
So I'm sick and tired of listening to this fucking bitch. I'm just sorry, everybody.
Well, in reality, if you've got a person like Chris Proudfoot saying this sort of thing about you, you're doing something right. You want to be on his bad side.
Apologize, but I'm just sick and tired of listening to this fucking bitch.
Oh, look at how all of you sympathy pimps and tragedy pimps are taking advantage of Chris's situation. Oh, he's furious about it.
Shit about her before. I don't give a fuck if she stood in front of my goddamn face. I'd say it right to her fucking face again.
Me too. With pleasure.
Now, what I will say is instead of her sitting here trying to grift and make money and shit, you should probably learn how to pay your fucking bill like your fucking property tax bill that you still ain't fucking paid.
And what business is that to you? Who pays what bills, Chris? Why
He's probably owing a bit on his property tax.
don't you worry about where Sebastian?
His sexy new house just probably got reevaluated at twice as what it's worth. He's got to pay twice as much property tax on it now.
Is at instead of worrying about creator drama, you low life cunt. And also, why is it that you seem like you only attack women? You ain't got the guts to attack men, puss.
Yeah, you want to go real life? I'll go real life. You're trying to look your ass up.
You done look. Whoa!
That was my favorite. This Chris threatening to go real life, just like you went real life on Sebastian. Why don't you bring that fucking tough guy over here? You want me to go real life on you? You want me to go real life? Part of me wonders if he's even serious about all of this. Like, is this just a facade to make it look like he's angry? Or is this genuinely how he behaves? It's bizarre if he behaves like this. Like, imagine the environment that Sebastian was growing up in with such illogical sort of decision making and raging at any possible moment because Chris can't get his way. Well, he's the man, right?
I repeat.
Wait.
You want to go real life? I'll go real life. You're trying to look your ass up.
Is that a threat?
You want to go real life? You want to go real life, Brittany J? He's really doing his best to try to intimidate her. I think that's what he's trying to do. Well, I think technically everybody's already gone real life on you, Chris, because you're the center of attention. Everybody knows all of your information. You've been doxxed. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do now? You're threatening to come after people who speak out against the narrative that you want so desperately for people to think. Why is it that you need people to think a certain way? You're a child killer, bro. I know it. You know it. And you're trying desperately to get away with murder. You planned and arranged for this murder. And you're so desperately trying to cover up your tracks because, of course, there's nothing to see here. Just like there was nothing in your backyard that fucking night at 3:30 with those flashlights jumping around. You're a child killer, Chris. And you think that this little outburst was bad on Brittany J. It's going to get a lot more worse. It's going to get a lot worse the longer time goes on because the more and more people realize how sketchy you and Katie are. Well, let's just say it's not going to get any better. Oh, look at us. You want so bad to be seen as a victim in all of this. Oh, I'm all of this scrutiny online over whether or not we have something to do with Sebastian going missing is just doing so much harm on my fucking ego. Oh, that's really what you want to be seen as, some sort of victim. What does it matter what people have to say? It shouldn't, especially if it's just random talking and people speculating. You know that you have nothing to do with it. Therefore, you've got nothing to worry about, right? Wrong. All the speculation does you damage because your conscience can't handle it. You can't handle thousands of people out there all thinking and knowing that you're fucking guilty in some way of all of this. You're right. We weren't there that night. But based upon your recounting of the situations, there's no question in my mind that you had a beef with Sebastian. It was in your best interests, especially so you could pay that property tax on that house, that Sebastian was no longer in the residence based upon all of the CPS reports leading up to his disappearance. A pattern of abusive behavior. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter as long as Sebastian considers it abuse, and he did. He did enough to tell his teachers at school to let them know how much of a piece of shit that you are. Imagine this guy coming in and dictating what a man should be in your house. This fucking guy who's been married 5 times. What a scumbag piece of shit. You fit. You take a look at your history, Chris. You don't even have to get to know you or listen to you or talk to you to know that your pattern of behavior would be in line with a person who would bring harm to a disabled child, especially in an environment which he's so eagerly desperate to seek to build some sort of future family. You have something up your sleeve because you're trying to steal Nina's baby away. Come live with you. Because your house is just so fantastic. Your life is just so fantastic. You're putting the cart before the horse. See, you should have something on the go already, not in the future. Not promises. You don't own your house. You had a decent job. But the boys on the job site, trust me, they whisper about you. And you didn't anticipate that. So I can't imagine your future professional contracts are going to work out that well for you. You'd been a lot fucking better to ignore everything that was going on online and just stay silent. Move on with your lives. Get past this. What keeps you stuck to the internet? What keeps you stuck to people's live chats who are talking about a missing child's case? You're the one who should be thankful. And by the way, you haven't once done anything to go and look for Sebastian. All of this nonsense that you want to put on a bunch of strangers on the internet about how, in fact, they can help. Believe me, these people out here know a lot fucking more about these scenarios than you do, Chris. You're in no position to be telling people what they should and shouldn't be thinking or doing. You're a piss poor liar. Fucking Rex Fredrickson's a better liar than you are. Hey, good to see you, sweet sativa. You pretty much hate him. You hate very few people, but him and Katie physically make you ill. Yeah, it's difficult to come to terms with the shit that comes out of these assholes' mouths. Yeah, I'm not too fucking this America's Most Wanted crap. Mainstream media, television networks just facilitate the mystery behind it when in fact there is no mystery behind this. There's no mystery behind what happened other than they can't find Sebastian. It's been it's been well over a year now. All of these are little distractions from the fucking reality of Chris and Katie's, culpability. Yeah, insecure. The question is, why is he insecure? How long are these guys going to be together? So is there talk about that changing their names, Slim? And who's the three? The third? Chris, Katie. Oh man, Shay. Shay's saying that she really tried to give him a chance and listen to them. that listen, you know, they always talk about that there's no second chance for first impressions in that sense. They had that opportunity and that ship sailed. The things that they said in place of the things that they should have said when you're in a legitimate scenario where your child's gone missing and unfortunately you're in front of a camera, well, they fucked that up bad. Oh, yeah. Well, Sweets of TV, that 3M footage sealed the deal for me, especially when Chris and Katie were ignoring it and didn't know what it was, just didn't think that there was anything to it. If you were a caring parent and your child just disappeared into thin air overnight while you were in the house and sleeping, any sort of thing outside would be suspicious. And they're trying to play it off as though it was not anything suspicious. It was the garbage truck. They'll fucking play us for a fool, boy. We know what a garbage truck looks like, and those weren't a garbage truck. Oh, that's true. I think it's probably how he operates. Yeah, it's getting his name out there, Lolo. But you know what? There's more to all of this in my mind than just these TV shows bringing some attention towards it. All of this shouldn't even be necessary. They should have those two cocksuckers locked up and on a fucking rack, stretching them out until they talk. And I don't justify cruel, unusual punishment unless it comes to kids in situations like this. I was thinking a lot about that story yesterday, Slim Gannon staunch scenarios. I find myself, what I do now is I compare all of these parents who have effectively been shown to be lying all the way through these scenarios, because you know how frustrating it gets for people to be divided because one, Chris and Katie are making it personal. They're trying to come and make personal connections to people that are strangers who have interest in the case in order to sway public sentiment their way. And that's what they're doing. Like, that's why I do not want any fucking contact with any of the people like Don or Candace, because if I did, I would find myself giving these people the benefit of the doubt, because that's just in my nature. I'm a pussy. And it's not like I'm not a pussy like that. It's just human nature. That's human nature in that sense. You did enough talking. I don't know. I don't know about that, but I respect what you're saying. You think Katie's the brains and Chris is the mouthpiece? Well, it's probably something that they've had to adapt towards, because who's really going to foresee how they have to act in order to hide their criminal activities afterwards? You have to be good at adapting. And that's why he's strutting his, he's flexing. That's why he gets so seemingly upset, because he wants to be seen as sticking up for his wife's honor in this circumstance. And it makes no fucking sense anymore. Like, one, she can do her own talking. You're not supposed to be there. He's in my opinion, psychologically, he's desperate. So he's betting on the lesser of two evils, or at least if people, or he has to look stupid in front of a microphone, it's going to be for a particular reason. And when you start shouting, it's a distraction away from the focus in that circumstance. It's like an outburst in the courtroom, in my opinion. And he's probably just a complete idiot. Like, even if there was, think about it, even if there was a person talking about your case online in a way that wasn't very becoming of the situation, or you felt didn't accurately represent the situation and the facts of the situation, what's the point in coming up there to degrade, insult, demean, make yourself look like less than? You're making yourself look like a complete idiot, even if you were right about something. But when you come up and you make this big scene, you're making a scene in a sense, trying to distract away from something, it becomes obvious, becomes something that sticks out to people. Like, most importantly, why are you acting so funny? Why are you acting so funny considering you have nothing to do with anything, Mr. Innocent? Your behavior doesn't fall in line with a person who has nothing to hide. Well, that's all they have, because the cops don't tell you anything in that sense. So they stay engaged, Shay, with all of the talk that they then turn around and claim to be victims of all of this misinformation and these people. No, you're victimizing yourself. You victimized yourself. Hey, the Paul Howard, good to see you. Strutting his mullet. Yeah, he's a real character. I get a kick out of him. He's walking around. People got screenshots of Chris. Like, I think they must be from the courtroom and things like this, different times in the past few months, where he's not looking very happy. He's looking quite unhealthy. Well, you should be happier now, Chris. Isn't your problems all gone away? Now you and Katie can move on, buy that new Harley Davidson, and kick back and enjoy life. Gives a shit. You don't even have to tune into any YouTube channels. What keeps this asshole tied to these YouTube channels? Look, any of you out there who have YouTube channels, chances are there's other channels out there that talk smack about you, talk shit about you, fabricate false narratives. It's kind of a thing. It doesn't bother you. It's just how things go. So, I mean, people are going to question. It wouldn't be a place where I would want to be around very often. You guys can go and figure it out if you don't like something, but you know, I'm trying to move on with my life. Like, not these guys, not Chris. He's so bothered by what Brittany J has to say. God knows what she's over there saying. Nothing. Over there having, they have little round tables. They have a panel guests. They talk about all of these cases, and people talk about how suspicious they are of Chris. And you know why, Chris? Because you are suspicious. You look suspicious. There's nothing about this scenario that says Chris Proudfoot has nothing to do with this. This is some random act, some bizarre thing that just happens. No, it doesn't just happen. Kids just don't disappear, especially with no shoes in the middle of the fucking night. And the one person who should be accountable, concerned, Katie, isn't. She's got nothing to say. Oh, yeah, just went to bed, woke up, he was gone. This is a child with a disability, a child she supposedly loves. But what it really is a constant reminder about Seth. It's a constant reminder of her past relationship with Seth, something that she's been brainwashed and conditioned by stupid Chris to fucking despise, to feel less than. And she has this piece of luggage that she has to carry around in order to fit in with this brave new world of Chris. You have to become subservient. He's a fucking scumbag, dude. He's a fucking idiot. Yeah, just to finish that statement off, it's I'm not saying that I'm right or wrong. It's just that when you cross the line and you start getting personal, overly personal with the parents in this scenario, I don't think it's necessarily always a good thing. But circumstances are circumstances. People can do whatever they want. But for me, it would be hard for me to then, after meeting them, turn them around and hold them fully accountable for things that are just suspicions at that point in time. Whereas if I don't know them, I'm more free and apt to point out the suspicious points and stick to that point because it's legit. Look where Chris goes on panel. Clue. I don't know what you mean, Shay. It'll be good ink. Sweet Sativa is saying, I hope it's because the state has been building its case against them. It was said by Seth that Chris and Katie haven't been cooperative with law enforcement since September. I don't know what that means, cooperative in that sense. What does that actually mean? Probably means something different in every case, but yeah, it's hearsay. You can see that they're not very cooperative because you can get a good feel, in my opinion, you can get a good feel for what's being said in front of the cameras. So we've got Nancy Grace, we've got their appearance on I can't remember what some mainstream outlet. I don't know if it's ABC or CBS or whoever, but another one of those, and then a bunch of appearances on random YouTubers' live streams. Like that says that's questionable. That's sketchy at that point in time. You can have all the reasoning and all the excuses for doing that, but it's not going to take away from the fact that you obviously have a little bit different of priorities than a normal parent who is missing their children. Who do they go after? They don't go after anybody other than they've got a little army of people like to throw spam because they've got people talked into them being innocent in all of this. When there's a fucking missing child, ain't nobody innocent. Mom, dad. Tell it to the judge. Did I see the new billboards? I saw that there was billboards. But is there something particularly of point that I haven't seen? Yeah, I don't mind Brittany J. I used to worry about her, but she's just a different personality. Some people can sit there and talk all day about certain things in a certain way. I can't talk all day about these possibilities. These people are fucking guilty. All right. End of. That's it. So sitting around talking about all the other possibilities of them not, it doesn't really fit. Not in my mind. And how fair is it of me to sit there and Just shit talk them all of this time. Hurry up already and get these cocksuckers into a grand jury. He's got that feathery mullet in the back. He's got the sometimes curly mullet hanging out the back of his hat. How was that a slip, Sweet Sativa? You mean it was a slip because that's a contradicting claim that she made? That's absolutely right. And in a court of law, that would, we'd have to follow up on that a little bit. I think you mean it's a slip because she told that story 2 different ways. How did you wake him up? But I think she actually told that 2 different ways. And sometimes you tell stories 2 different ways, but not in this case. Not when there's so many other questions. It's like, well, what the fuck did you do all night? Oh, like, yeah, as though he's still out there. Yeah, like speaking directly to Sebastian through that camera lens. Yeah, that's an interesting point too. They're emphasizing how this is a like he's gone situation. He's not coming back. Oh, it's just one of those things. One of those things that autistic kids do. They just up and bolt, they up and bail, and they just don't come back. Nobody sees them again. If an autistic child bolts, somebody's going to see them. Oh, did he gain night vision all of a sudden? He's like Predator out there, roaming free, living off the land. NG? Who's NG? Nancy Grace. Oh, no. No, she's too much of a scrutinizing personality to buy any of it. But again, you have to talk and get their story out. At Night Media, Dog the Bounty Hunter is now offering an award for Summer Wells. Good for him. So is Benny Keys. Do you remember when Benny was offering $50,000 for information? Oh, great. Why not make it a couple 100,000 there, moneybags? Oh, shit. You don't date dudes with mullets, Shay? Thought that would have been a go-to. At night, grabbing onto Summer's case makes you feel sick. What do you mean, locked and loaded? Spell check there. Oh, skeezy. Oh, wow. Benny's got a reward out, a $50,000 reward out. I do kind of miss that prick too. Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. Let me see. Maybe I should end this segment. Should I end this segment and come back after? I got my mind filled with this Jeffries situation. It's stuck in my mind. My God, Virginia. They'll keep coming out with the headlines. I wonder what's going to be next in this scenario. They're trying to put it back on Pam Bondi, and they're politicizing the shit out of it already. Anything to distract away from the sketchiness of the claim in the first place, right? Like, they called back and amended the police report to add Virginia Jeffrey as a passenger in the vehicle far after the fact. The bus driver already got out and checked to see if everybody was okay. You didn't see Virginia. In my mind, that's pretty solid coming from a dude, a school bus driver, who was just involved in the accident, jumped out, made sure everything was okay. I want to look into more of this accident. I mean, how much? We already know it's bullshit. We already know it's a story. Man. I'm going to look into it anyway. Friends, I'm going to be back on a little bit later on tonight. We'll check up on, see where things are going. There's all kinds of interesting conversations to be had about Epstein and the Jeffrey situation. We'll see where it takes us. Thank you for making it through this far, friends, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday. God bless you guys.